Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breech coming to you with the history of WWE, the 50th year anniversary DVD Blu-ray set that has just been put out for release. Honestly, I've been looking forward to this. I thought this was coming out 2 weeks ago, then I thought it was coming out last week, and then finally it is here. This is going to be a great one. It's going to be a good one to watch. You see all the covers of all the history. Everybody cementing, everybody that is a big name that's ever been in WWE, been gracing the cover here from the likes of San Martino, Triple H, we got Sergeant Slaughter, Vince McMahon, Andre the Giant, Jimmy Snuka, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you see Trish Stratus, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Junkyard Dog, anybody that really put them on the map is here. Even John Cena makes an appearance with CM Punk down there in the bottom corner. I mean, like this just looks really, really cool. Really awesome. Can't wait to sit down and check this out. I noticed this the first thing when I opened this up. Big thanks out to Amazon Prime. I will always give them a shout out. Most people will think like, wow, on the West Coast, how does Stevie Breech have this in his hand already? Amazon Prime came and they actually delivered this to my hand as I was leaving to take my daughter to school today for you. It doesn't get any better than that to have, somebody dropping off a package to your house at 8:15 in the morning. This is like the cornerstones of a WB, and I believe in this, but at the same time, Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time. He always will be my number one guy, but I don't know, man. The Stone Cold Steve Austin should be in that picture. That's my mind. You got San Martino, Triple H, you got Andre and Hulk, but I think that's majorly just for Hulk. You got John Cena, and you got The Rock on the back there for you. They're really hyping up. Bruno Sammartino's epic championship run comes to an end in Baltimore, Maryland. Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant in front of 93,000 people. Austin 316 is born. Generations collide at WrestleMania 18. That's Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. Mr. McMahon purchases WCW. And the Blu-ray exclusives included stories not featured in the original documentary and so much more. I always get the Blu-rays. Always get them. Because they always give you that extra footage that you're not going to be available to get on the DVDs, and it just helps me keep up on what's going on in here for you. There's the documentaries, stories there for you. I think everybody knows what's going on in here, and one of the biggest things I think everybody wants to see today is the tragedy in Kansas City. Blu-ray exclusives include Reporting the News, Jimmy Valiant on Vince McMahon Sr., The Bankruptcy, Titan Sports, The Promo Man, WWE Universe, extra matches including Floyd Mayweather versus The Big Show, and then we have Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. Those are sort of two matches to sort of put in there that are sort of weird for the history of WWE, but lots of good shit in there. Honestly, we got the Bruno match, we've got the Andre match, the Royal Rumble match from 1988. That's a weird pick there as well. That's the one that Hacksaw wins. I don't know about that. First episode of Raw with Koko versus Yokozuna. Then we got Jake the Snake Roberts against Stone Cold Steve Austin at the King of the Ring. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, Survivor Series 97. I guess this is the second time that's been released, but it's probably on the DVD. And that, I think, according to now, had only been available on the Confidential DVD. Tyson Austin from Raw. Then we got Triple H versus Rock from SmackDown 99. That's a great match. I already know which one that is. That's a really, really, really good match. And then we have Mr. McMahon and WCW, Rock versus Hogan. Then we have Trump and McMahon with Lashley versus Umaga. I always thought that would be built up as a bigger moment than it was if it wasn't Bobby Lashley in the ring. The way he left, and they never really give that match the sort of the rub that it should have gotten. Then we have a 6-man tag from the Tribute to the Troops in 2008. CM Punk speaks his mind on Monday Night Raw. And then we have the number one contendership match for the WWE Championship, John Cena versus CM Punk. Ooh, that's that 5-star match that was really, really fucking good. That's the first time that's on a DVD or Blu-ray. That's a good thing to get its hand on. I thought we were going to have to wait until the Best of Raw and SmackDown to come out. Pretty basic discs. Come with a little slip cover in there available in spring of 2014, the 50th anniversary book. And then you just got, looks like Macho Man underneath there. on this back picture. And no, it's Hogan. Just some basic pictures in there for you. But this is going to be a good one. This is going to be one that you make sure you want to get your hands on ASAP. Hopefully you guys have like an Amazon Prime account, or just buy this from Amazon, Best Buy. Go out there and get this. But this is one that you want. It's going to be a good one. Peace out. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Steve Breech coming to you. It is 2:30 in the morning. One of my biggest things on my schedule today was getting off work, coming home, and making sure I had time to watch the 50th anniversary DVD, Blu-ray, documentary set put out by WWE. I was very excited for this. I was faked out. For some reason, I had the release date in my mind messed up on this for 3 weeks. 3 weeks I've been waiting on this set. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on this. Honestly, I think a lot of people who are watching this video right now are a lot like me. You might not be the same age I am. I'm 32 years old. I did not come out of the womb wearing a Hulkamania bandana, but at a very young age, I became a wrestling fan. And that's a long damn time to pour it into something. And this was a very good documentary. This is a very good set that was put together. I think almost everything that I'm going to say about this is very, very positive. But now, if you are not the hugest wrestling fan, I will tell you the one knock about this DVD set, this documentary, is that if you collect all of the documentaries and you watch them, you're going to know almost everything that is on this documentary set. As a documentary set that is put together of the best that WWE has done, and you look at it that way, this is a very good documentary. It is very good, at the top of their list. I would put it up there right with their the Best of WrestleMania set that came out 3 years ago. I thought that was a very, very good documentary. I wouldn't quite put it in the top of the class with the Four Horsemen documentary, which I still think is the best documentary they've ever come out with. I'm telling you that if you want to sit down and you want all fresh things, more than likely you already have this stuff. If you've seen the Monday Night Wars documentary, if you've seen the WrestleMania documentary, if you've seen the Hulkamania documentary, if you've seen, this, that, and the other, a lot of this stuff is the same stuff that you've seen before, but it's all put into the same place. There's a lot of things that I didn't know about the WWF way back in the day. How they basically came together, how, Vince McMahon Sr. left the NWA, started up his own organization with Rogers. Rogers, had some health problems. He handed the belt over to San Martino. San Martino gave it to Graham. Graham gave it to Backlund. Backlund gave it to Sheik. Sheik turned it into Hogan. This is very, very good stuff. This was a very good documentary. It is very, very hard to find anything along the lines that are skipped over here. It just shows you basically how, how they grew as a company. Just basically growing from, being the promotion, that running shows, to figuring out how TV could basically, boost their popularity, and how everybody can become, bigger stars if, more eyes are on your product. And that was what Vince McMahon had his thoughts on. And basically, with the birth of TV, they started running their, what are they called, shows? The shows that are on in all the markets, they grew with, the shows of Primetime Wrestling. I think it would start with WrestleMania. WrestleMania turned into a Survivor Series, which turned into Royal Rumble, which brought in, Saturday night's main event, and Saturday nights brought in, it turned into Monday Night Raw, which turned into SmackDown. It just shows the evolution of the company. How, what started out way back in the day when Vince McMahon started running Titan Sports, back in Cape Cod, and just basically using the wrestlers from his dad's promotion. You know, he was just basically at the very top of the mountain. A very small little pebble, started to roll down the hill. And as it rolled down the hill, it picked up more and more and gained more momentum. And then it rolled all the way down the hill. And by the time it got down to the bottom, it was just huge, huge boulder that, anything that got into its way would knock it down. Just basically there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that is really, really good. I think almost everybody is going to know everything there is to know about Hulkamania. But as a wrestling fan, just basically I thought that, Vince taking stock and basically putting everything into one guy, that being Hulk Hogan, and just basically, putting all of his money on, basically, I was going to say putting it all on black, because, like, I'm about to say something about roulette, but basically putting all of his money on red and yellow, and spinning the roulette wheel, and, it's going to be what it's going to be. I mean, who knows? What if, Hulkamania would have flopped? What if they should have put more stock into somebody like Paul Orndorff, or, somebody else like that, and it just could have, they could have lost it all, and we wouldn't even be watching the WWF anymore. But it's just crazy. But I think if you didn't have Hulk Hogan, you didn't have Mr. T, you didn't have Roddy Piper, you wouldn't have the first WrestleMania. Without the WrestleManias, they wouldn't have been able to be what they were now. Who knows that the AWA, who was, they're probably their number 2 competition at the time, would have been able to grow off and become, the big company that Vince McMahon ended up becoming. A lot of fun stuff on here. Some of the things that we've never really seen talked about on WWE documentaries is, of course, starting out with the steroid trial. They used a lot of ESPN footage. I don't know how they got their hands on this, if they just paid ESPN a flat rate price in order to get these things. But there's also stuff from 2020 pieces. You saw Geraldo, a whole bunch of these, exposés that were run on wrestling, trying to throw rocks and just basically trying to take a piece of anything, it was basically just, wrestling was popular in the 80s, and it was almost like, in order for people to make money off of wrestling, they had to throw rocks at wrestling in order to try to knock it down, instead of trying to help build on, what was getting really, really big. One of the other things, it was very sad to watch, but they talk about Owen Hart's death at the pay-per-view in Kansas City when he fell. I felt like they showed a few of the wrestler speeches. I think everybody can remember the Raw as Owen the night after that pay-per-view, where they went on TV. They had a few matches, but for the most part, it was just a grieving for the wrestlers, for the wrestling fans. And they showed Mick Foley. They showed The Rock. They showed a few guys like that give short little clips of their speeches, and I think a lot of people bring up what they did on the country Raw's country, whatever the hell it was last night, where the announcers openly talked about Jeff Jarrett, and they did the Jeff Jarrett strut after the guitar strut and everything like that, or not guitar strut, guitar shot. If there was ever a time, they showed a brief glimpse of Jeff Jarrett with his head up in the air, like he was looking at Owen up in the helmet, up in the heavens. If there was ever a time to show a Jeff Jarrett clip, would be to show his emotional speech about Owen, and I think that would have made that just a little bit better. There's a lot of good talk about after the steroid trial, about how much money Vince McMahon had to spend in order to make sure that he didn't go to jail. Jerry Jarrett being brought into the company in order to be the guy who's going to run the company if Vince did go to jail. And this brings up, basically them talking about a lot of the guys leaving to go to WCW, those guys being, the Macho Mans, being Hulk Hogan's, Brutus the Barber Beefcake's, great clip of Hogan and Beefcake walking into an arena, not giving a fuck, walking up to Vince McMahon and basically shaking his hand. And they showed this a few times in there, and that basically with them running off of them, having to scale back and do smaller shows. They're not going to be doing the big Superdome shows anymore. And it's really cool that when they end up talking about, WrestleMania going back into the stadiums with the big Astrodome show at WrestleMania 16, Undertaker is just like, what a relief. We finally dug ourselves out of the ditch that we, put ourselves into, basically getting on top of the world. Once again, and of course, just like with the end of the Triple H documentary, they talk about, what, they've moved themselves into. They show a feature on the WWE studios with all the movies that they're putting out. Now, you can say if those movies are good or bad, but I can honestly say that I haven't seen any of the bad movies, and I honestly forgot that Edge made a movie with Jamie Kennedy, and I think I really wanted to see that at one point, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen The Call. I've seen most of the John Cena movies, and I thought those were all good. I saw the comedy Triple H movie, and I thought that was good. So, I mean, like, these movies that they're putting out aren't horrible, but I'm honestly not watching them all, and they got to be making some sort of a money, or, why would they be doing them? Last thing about the documentary is the thing on Montreal with the screw job. I don't even honestly know why they even put that in there. They didn't let Bret Hart say a damn thing about what happened there. Shawn Michaels, one of the main guys that was in there, basically just says, who gives a fuck? If you want to hear about it, go buy one of the other DVDs, go buy Bret's book, and just go from there. The matches that they put on here to, I don't know, I always buy the documentary sets for the one reason that, that's what I'm paying for. If you throw something else on there and I watch it, or if it's something that I don't have and I add it to my collection of footage, it's a plus. The things that they put on there, some of these are really good, some of these are really bad. You get the San Martino match where he loses to Superstar Billy Graham, passing the belt over. Honestly, this is a match that I don't even think I'm ever going to watch. It's just not for my era. It's not anything that I care about. I'm sure that some people are really going to be grateful to get a San Martino match into their collection. Not me. Hogan versus Andre. What's to be said about this match? Everybody's seen this. Everybody probably owns this on, probably one of the 3 other DVDs that they put out there. For some reason, they put the 1988 Royal Rumble match, more than likely probably because it's first. This is the one that Hacksaw Jim Duggan won. I would have think that you would at least give us 89, which I think is a more historic Rumble with Hulk Hogan getting the win. A big, huge upgrade in the roster on here. Almost all of the Hall of Famers that they talk about that are in the Hall of Fame class. That when you go back and watch that, I would say at least of the 30 competitors, I would say there's at least 20 Hall of Famers in there without looking at the list. You get to see that first episode of Monday Night Raw, Koko Beware and Yokozuna. That might be a fun match just to see, how small and how scaled back Monday Night Raw is and what it's grown into now. You get to see the King of the Ring match with Stone Cold Steve Austin beating Jake the Snake Roberts, becoming who he is. It's just, funny that they don't really talk about this match, and it's just sort of thrown in here. There's a lot of these matches that, why is it on the documentary set if it's not something that's featured on the documentary itself? You get Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels from the Survivor Series, Tyson and Austin, which I guess is to kick off the Attitude Era, and talk about that. That's another one of the DVDs that, that if you have that, it's something that's on here. Triple H and Rock from the debut of SmackDown. You got the big man buying WCW. Rock and Hollywood Hogan, which is great because it ties together the 80s and the 90s. It goes together what they're saying. Battle of the Billionaires, Bobby Lashley versus Umaga, a match that's not talked about at all. I think Donald Trump is one of the guys that is sort of like he doesn't really do anything except, he's a big part of WrestleMania 4, a big part of WrestleMania 5, a big part of this WrestleMania 23, but he's not talked about at all. He's one of those celebrities that you really could have said that without him, WWE wouldn't be who they are today. Tribute to the Troops match, which is on there just to show that, the stuff that they do for the soldiers. CM Punk speaks his mind. I don't know why this is on here. It's not talked about on the documentary at all. Is it a big moment in WWE history over the 50 years? Probably not. It's probably the last coolest thing we've saw. And then you got John Cena versus CM Punk, which is probably the last best match that we've seen on TV. And then the Blu-ray exclusives, you get Floyd Mayweather against Big Show. I did watch this. Mayweather looks like one of the most lost motherfuckers walking to the ring right there, just saying, like, I can't wait till I get in the back and get my money. Taker and Michaels finished out with the best WrestleMania match of all time. This is probably a must-own documentary. Make sure you all get to the store and buy this tomorrow.